Welcome to Breaking News Wahala, and my name is still remains Chimerize Henry Ahonai. And today in the studio, I have a very special guest, Victor Wonder, our one and only, inspiring queer activist who has been giving us the glimpse and the insight of what's going on in Lagos, Nigeria, as Pride is coming. Before we talk about Lagos Pride, we are just going to have a little conversation on the Kachi matter. Victor Wonder, you were one of the first people who brought out the tag or the hashtag of Kachi being arrested. How did you get to know about that information about Kachi's arrest?
Okay, thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be on the show. So, because of the work I do, I am a queer activist, a queer rights activist here in Nigeria, and because of that position, I get a lot of people bring information to me. Sometimes they need help, sometimes they want me to be aware of something. And so I was on Twitter one day, a day after it happened, and someone sent me a screenshot of one blog, one Bielsa blog that have posted about it. And when I saw it, I immediately recognized Kachi, for obvious reasons. And I was like, why are they doing this to this boy? Like this boy doesn't deserve this. Nobody deserves such a such kind of treatment. And I waited for a couple of minutes. I scrolled through Twitter. I wanted to know if people were talking about this already because Kachi is a very popular person in the queer community. And I expected that if something bad happens to him, everybody will like carry it, or everybody will make sure that um it's their business, or they will try to help him in any way that they can because or a lot of poor people here in Nigeria consume his content, right? And after waiting for a while, I did not see anybody making any tweet about this. Nobody was talking about it. And having been a person who has been in such a similar situation, I was like, I can't just sit idle and watch this boy suffer like this. No matter what, even though he's a porn star, he doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. And so I have a large platform on Twitter. I have a large platform across social media combined. So I started from my Twitter. I made a post about the incident. I was like, this boy has currently been mobbed. This is what he has gone through, and he's currently in police custody. And we need to help this boy. We need to get him out because having seen his back and seen him in that situation, I have a medical background, right? I studied human anatomy, or I'm studying human anatomy. And I know that for you to get that kind of injury that was on his back, he must have lost a couple liters of blood in the process. And I was like, this boy must have lost a lot of blood. This boy must be in a very, maybe a near fatal condition. He's not supposed to be in police custody even though he has committed a crime, since Nigeria considers queerness a crime, he's not supposed to be in police custody. He's supposed to be in a hospital. And so I tried to raise awareness on social media, and yeah, that was how it all started.
Yeah, I would like to ask you about the awareness you created, but let's just backtrack about your own incident. Can you give us a briefing about, you said you've been in the same similar,
Similar
experience.
situation.
What happened and how did you get into the same similar experience?
So that whole phenomenon is called kitso here in Nigeria. So kitso basically means when a straight person who is homophobic or transphobic, when they catfish as a queer person on dating apps, on social media generally. So basically, because of the laws that we have in Nigeria, it's very hard to meet queer people physically. So you have to, most of us resort to, meeting people online. So so these straight homophobic people, they catfish as actual queer people online, and they lure queer people into traps. They deceive you that they are queer, and then when you meet up, probably to hang out or to have sex or to go on dates, they will you would meet them with other people there. They would overpower you. They will extort you, blackmail you. For those people who are not out, like in my case, when it happened to me, I was already out to my family and to the world, so they could not blackmail me. But they beat me up. They extorted me of huge amounts of money. They kept me for 3 days. It was basically an abduction at that point. And so, like that happened to me. I was at a point in my life where I felt like I needed a partner, and I was speaking to this person from a dating app for almost a month, for 4 weeks, and we were talking, and these people, they do their homework. Honestly, They are just like internet fraudsters. They do their homework, they learn the lingo, they learn the queer lingo, they learn like about the queer experience generally. And so when you're talking to them, you almost never know that this person is setting a trap for you. And so for a month, I was speaking to this person, and eventually when we decided to meet, I found out that he was a fraud. He wasn't actually queer. And I met him like when I traveled down to meet him, I met six other people there. So there were seven in total, all men. And they treated me like I wasn't a human being. They beat me. I was bleeding from several parts of my body. And it's just so crazy that stuff like that happens. So that was basically my own experience. And they helped me, like I said before, they helped me for 2 days, expected me to a tune of some 400, 500,000 at the end of the day, and eventually let me go. Well, and healing from that is also a very long process because I mean, healing emotionally, you also need to heal physically. After having those wounds inflicted on you. But the emotional healing is something I'm still going through, and it's something I know that Kachi is going to have to deal with for a long period of time. And that is why I could not just turn a blind eye to the situation.
I'm sorry to hear about that incident. It's really appalling. I just want to put this out there, or just kind of a rhetorical question. Do you think this is the fault of the apps, especially like Grindr, Tinder? Do you think they need to do more work in securing LGBTQ lives in Nigeria? Because most of this setup happens through Grindr and through Tinder. What are your thoughts concerning, the apps and the CEOs who build these apps?
I think they are aware now that their apps are literally a breeding ground for situations like this, ketos situations like this. And I have noticed, right, that they now put up messages like security messages when you just log into the app. You see a message telling you that and even they have gone as far as translating these messages into even pidgin language, like excuse me, Nigerian pidgin. So you see these messages telling you that make sure you confirm the identity of the person before meeting the person. Make sure you do your homework. Although I feel that they can still do more, like verify people who come on this app. Probably make sure that they have like they can bring proof of
Their
their
national
queerness
identity
because
cards.
their queerness actually I feel like it has
Their
gotten to that
queerness?
point. And yes, it has gotten to that point, and we need to like verify, especially Grinder that is a queer app. I know Tinder is it's an app for everybody, but Grinder that is a queer app. I think they should verify people who are coming on the app as users if they are actually queer in any form, if they are gay, they are trans, because I think it's important for them to do. It's important for them to start doing that, right? Because how can we be safe anymore? Anybody can now, even police. Do you realize that even the Nigerian police are now on Grinder? Do you realize
Yes,
that? It's something.
I remember. Sorry to cut you short. I remember one of our story where the Nigerian police, when I forgot his name, but he was telling us a story how the Nigerian police sets a profile, use their agents to lock women and even lock them up and take them to this uncompleted building, which is really
You see,
appalling. But continue.
so I think like Ghana is doing some things like security measure, but I think they can do more. I honestly think they can do more because they've created a platform where you know people are literally putting their trust in the people they meet on there. And I know that when they were creating Grindr, they didn't necessarily think about third world countries, right? They must have created it for like first world countries and second world countries. But like the reality right now is third world users are using the app, and it's important to also factor them into um, your programming and your algorithms too.
So let's just go back to Kachi's matter. You talked about creating awareness on Kachi's case. How did you create awareness, and what were the process you took or the steps you took to create this awareness?
Okay, so initially I quoted the blog, the Bielsa blog on Twitter that had made that post. And when I quoted them, I hadn't seen the actual injuries on Kashi's body. I had just seen his face and, the blog saying that this boy he was mobbed. And when I saw his actual back and all the wounds that had been inflicted on him, I had to like use that picture and make a tweet that like went viral. And actually, I did not stop there. I also contacted because when the tweet went viral, some core organizations here in Nigeria, people were tagging some core organizations to actually do something. And I also tagged, but I wanted to like take it a step further to make sure that they were actually doing something because if you call yourself an NGO that a queer NGO. You should also be looking out for queer people here in Nigeria. So I reached out to some queer NGOs here in Nigeria, such as TS, and I spoke to whoever is on the emergency line, and they told me that they were now aware of the issue from social media, which is why creating awareness is very important because these are the ways you like notify people who can actually do something to help. So when I spoke to them, they were like they are aware of the issue, and although they don't have a lot of information, that I was even okay. Before I spoke to them, I had been able to successfully contact a friend of Kachi, who is Terry. I think you've interviewed Terry. So I had contacted Terry, and Terry had told me that he had a direct contact with Kachi in the police station. So I gave CS, that is the Initiative for Equal Rights, the organization, I gave them Terry's number so they can also communicate with Terry. And because they were like, they haven't been able to successfully reach Kachi himself. So I was like, you will be able to reach Kachi via Terry. And so Terry told me that he spoke with them and they said that they were going to see if they can provide a lawyer for Kachi, right? And yes,
So you weren't
that was
sure
those
if
were
they
the initial things I did.
so you weren't sure if they did provide these lawyers for Kachis. We don't have 100% accuracy if they provided these lawyers for Kachi, right?
Okay, so there's a twist here now. I called some days later. Okay, because I kept I collected Terry's WhatsApp number, so I kept chatting Terry up. What's up? What's the situation on ground? Is Kachi out now? Is he fine? Has he been treated for his injuries? And at some point, Terry told me that Tears had decided that because it wasn't only Tears. According to Tears, what Tears told me was that there were other organizations too that were working with them. They were all working in collaboration to get Kachi out. And then Terry told me that Tears told him that they weren't going to go through the lawyer route anymore, that they weren't going to use the lawyer, that they were working on other ways to get Kachi out. And this is also something I caught here, and they confirmed that they weren't going to go through the lawyer route because of something I don't know if I can if I should share
No.
on the
Yeah.
interview. Can
Don't
I?
say. Go
Well,
on. Yeah.
basically, okay. So they told me that they weren't going to go through I would say personally. So if you want to include that in the interview, you can. But I want to. It's a very sensitive part of this whole situation. So I don't know if you would want to. But I'll tell you personally in the DM.
Privately.
So yes, they said, and TS, yeah, privately, and TS confirmed that they weren't going to go through the lawyer route again because of that twist, but that they were still working to get Kachi out in collaboration with other organizations.
Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much because, like, you have been the first front runner in this catchy matter. You brought it to the light. We too at Kiwi Talk, we followed suit. We tried our best to work together with you to make sure that this awareness is being brought, to the whole world, so the whole world see how gay men, especially I love to use the term gay men because not all queer people go through this. I think lesbian have a fair more treatment in Nigeria, but gay men don't find it funny at all in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So before we round up for today's interview, let's just talk a little bit about Pride Lagos. In the current situation of what is going on in Nigeria, do you think it's advisable to hold a Pride event when we know that the police are on a witch hunt on queer people?
Okay, by pride event, do you mean like a pride match
I mean, like a
or
pride.
like
If
just
we're about to
okay,
celebrate
any pride
Lagos
event?
Pride, right? An event that's supposed to hold. Am I correct? Do you think is advisable? Why do
Well,
you think we should hold such
that event.
events?
Okay, let me just clear the air. First and foremost, that event is not like a match on the road. It's not like a pride match. It's a closed event, right? And other closed events have happened in this month, and some are still going to happen. And I would say that we cannot keep like in the fight for liberation, we cannot keep like putting our own needs on hold. I know some people might think that okay, having a party or having a panel discussion isn't really necessary for the queer liberation struggle. But in the queer
No,
liberation,
it is. It is necessary.
in a bit
But God,
in a bit in a bit for like getting queer liberation, we also need to consider the fact that there are a lot of queer people who need community, who need to be among other queer people. It's lonely out here. It's really, really lonely, is it? By the way, we share the same surname. Did you know that? My
really.
surname is also Easy. Yeah.
Oh,
So
but my surname is Ahunaya. But we share the
Okay, I
same name.
use
My
the
name is
LG.
Eze. Yes, my first name is
Okay,
Eze.
okay. So it's really hard out here, honestly. And we live like personally, I live in Enugu, right? Or I'm currently based in Enugu. But the reason I traveled to Lagos this June was because I wanted to be around other queer people, this pride. You know, it's a lot of us are scattered around the country and we are in solitude. And for a lot of us in solitude like that, sometimes it comes into our heads, let's probably take our life or do something else, or do something harmful to ourselves. So all of these events, all of these parties, all of these gatherings, healing spaces, all of that are actually very necessary in the coalition struggle because that is how we are going to stay alive for us to keep demanding for our rights and our privileges. So I know that the police and the Nigerian government, the political climate here in Nigeria is unfavorable for poor people, but like it shouldn't stop us from trying to find community and solidarity amongst ourselves. The only thing I would say is that there is a need for heightened safety measures, and I think that the organizers of this event are actually putting that in place or have put that in place.
Thank you so much, Victor Wonder. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for also granting Q Talk this interview. So, viewers, in case you don't know Victor Wonder, please make sure you go check out Victor Wonder. Victor Wonder, just give out a shout of your social media handle so that people can follow you.
Okay, so apart from the fact that I'm a queer rights activist, I'm also a digital content creator. I create fashion content and lifestyle content. You can find me as the Wonder across all social media on YouTube, which is very important. YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok as well.
So
As the Wonder.
you guys have heard from Vic Wonder. Please, please, please go support Vic Wonder. Remember, like I tell you, a community that stays together, gets stronger and builds more empowerment. So please, let's learn to encourage each other. Let's learn to support each other. And that is it from me here at Q Talk, or rather from us here at Q Talk. And peace out.